let's get going with the computer speed, the paper 2. After this, we'll be going into programming languages and then finally to suitable programming ones. So let's get started with programming languages. Alright, so now, what are the features of a programming language? What is a programming language? A language which is understood by a computer is called a programming language. And in that way, you can instruct a computer to perform the task you need it to perform. Programming language is a formal system used to write software. It consists of syntax. So now, all you need to know right now, till now, is that a programming language consists of syntax and semantics, meaning of instructions. A good Alright, this is pretty much it. We are gonna do pseudocode right after this, right? You need to understand that we are gonna do pseudocode. We are not coding right now, so you do not need to understand a particular language's syntax or anything like that. But what we need to do is we must and we should know what programming language is, because each programming language has its own constraints, and when we write code for a particular programming language, we should keep that in mind. For example, in a pseudocode, we use a feature, and once a programmer comes across our pseudocode and he wants to convert that pseudocode into a programming language. But too bad, the programming language he's using does not have the features we use. So we should at least know what programming language we are making pseudocode for. And the pseudocode for programming languages, which we'll be dealing in A-level CIEs, will be either Python, and you know that Python, Java, or uh, VB, which is Visual Basic. Now, I prefer Python because it's most up to date and it's being used most widely right now in the industry. VB is a lot up to date. Java is up to you. Now, when you come to ease of writing code, that will be VB, because VB is just like pseudocode. So now working towards what is a syntax. So a syntax is basically what is a syntax? Syntax is basically a rules of for writing code. Now, what do you mean by rules for writing code? Uh, okay. So for example, you want to store I is a variable. You want to store 30 in it. In pseudocode, we do it like this. We make our arrow. We write the variable in which we want to store. We write this. Or if you want to store value of a w variable into I variable, we can do this. So this is how it works in pseudocode. But this is not necessarily how it will work in programming languages. They can have multiple meanings. So now, apart from that, a good programming language should be readable and understandable, easy for humans and computers to interpret. Now, it should be noted that Python is pretty basic. You can easily understand it for humans as well, and it's for computers. So efficient executes instructions quickly with minimal resource use. Portable can run on different platforms with minimal changes. Now that is something which won't be assessed on paper 2, but that's all you need to know right now. Apart from that, when you talk about programming languages, you should know what a compiled programming languages and what are interpreted uh, programming languages. So basically, compiled programming language is more complex than an interpreted programming language. Basically, you can say that compiled programming language has an interpreted programming language, and then another language on top of it that converts a basic programming language into interpreted programming language, and that interpreted programming language works for creating your software, works for your computer to understand. So basically, it's a two-layered language. It does not work like that. Whatever I said, it does not work like that. But you can basically say. One is compiled programming language is easier for humans to understand, and but it's heavy, and vice versa for the interpreted programming language. And you need to know that there are multiple programming languages with multiple needs in mind. For example, HTML is not necessarily a programming language because you cannot write programs in it, but you can certainly mark things up in it. You can create documents in it, you can create websites in it. That's pretty much it. For games and stuff, you have like Python because it's logic-based programming language, games, and AI and stuff as well. Now, C++ and JavaScript is used for like graphics and appeal of any particular website or a program, etc. So that's pretty much it. Now we'll be looking forward to further features of programming languages, and then we'll be moving forward. This is pretty much it for this lecture.